I've basically been sleeping in my car camping in Melbourne since about October last year. So that's coming up for 6 months now, I think. And I've made a whole bunch of videos about what that's like, whether it's comfortable, whether it's safe, all that sort of stuff, like how I sleep and stuff like that. And I've, fair few people have reached out with questions and stuff like that, questions and suggestions, and why don't you go back to New Zealand, or why don't you go fruit picking in WA, or why don't you go to WA and go and work in the mines, or I don't know, go like egg packing down in Geelong, or the question that keeps coming up the most is why don't I just get a van? And I've replied to those comments. I try to reply to all comments, and but there's just too many, and I replied to those ones about the van, and then I thought, why don't I just make a video about it, because I'm sure there's people out there that are, I know there's people that watch my videos that are sleeping in their car at the moment. So yeah, if you're sleeping in your car and you're thinking about upgrading to a van, or if you're sleeping in your car and you're comfortable in your car and you don't want to upgrade, if you're living in a van and you used to sleep in a car, or if you're living in a van and you can't imagine what it would be like downgrading to sleeping in a car, um, maybe yeah, just drop your experiences down in the comments. Let me know, because I'm kind of interested in how other people are doing it. Your feedback really kind of helps me figure out what I should be doing, and I've kind of got a clear idea of where I want to go and what I want to do. But mostly I'm just a massive daydreamer, and and I'll probably get to my deathbed and be like, well, I just spent my whole life daydreaming about all the stuff that wasn't realistic, and I didn't end up doing anything. So your input is actually really valuable, if you feel like sharing it. But for me at the moment, like, why don't I just, I don't know why I'm so puffed. I know why. It's because I've been getting up and down, and just like stopping the video and like retaking it. The main reason that I don't get a van at the moment is just pure lack of capital. I just do not have the money to do anything other than just keep myself afloat at the moment, just keep my head above water. Um, and there's all sorts of other considerations with a van as well. There's loads of pros and cons, and I've got midterm and long term goals, and I kind of think that maybe getting a van would just be a short term fix, and then once I'd got myself out of that short term pickle, then I'd probably just want to get rid of the van and go back to my ute anyway. So I kind of feel like I'm just roughing it out at the moment until I can afford to upgrade my ute, and then get a rooftop tent and potentially a caravan down the track. That's like the perfect setup. Like, obviously the pros with a van, is that there's more internal space, so I could have a queen sized or even a king size bed in there, depending on what I got. I know you can definitely fit a queen size bed in a Mercedes Sprinter and a Transit van as well. There's more room for like sleeping. I could put a kitchen in there, potentially a shower and a toilet as well. Like, have loads more storage space. I'd have a lot more roof real estate to put solar panels and extra storage and stuff like that. I could put a bike rack on the back and get myself a bike. And then, if the weather's bad, just open the sliding door and then hop inside, and then you've got your living space. Whereas with my four wheel drive, like, if the weather's really bad and I'm kind of stuck in the car, I'm pretty much just stuck in the driver's seat, just watching YouTube videos, or I don't know. Sometimes I go to the pool and have a swim, or go and visit friends, or something like that. But it's not great if the weather's bad. Pros for my four wheel drive dual cab is, one, it's four wheel drive and it's got high ground clearance, which most vans don't have. There's not a lot of vans that have proper four-wheel drive systems in them yet. I know you can get upgrades for the Sprinter. The Ford Transit is absolutely not. There's there's a guy called Andrew St. Pierre White, who has a really good YouTube channel called 4X Overland, and him and one of his South African mates are actually developing a proper four-wheel drive van with a 48-volt electrical system in it. They've taken a van with a four-wheel drive system that is used out in the mines out in WA, and they're kind of tweaking it and upgrading bits and pieces and just poking and jigging it around to get it so that it's at the point where it's a proper four-wheel drive with low range, front and rear diff locks, solid axles, all that sort of stuff. But that's a long way off until, you know, they've got all that sorted out and that actually comes to market, if that ever happens. But and they would be super expensive too. So there's the Mitsubishi Delicas, but I don't think you can get them in diesel, and I kind of don't really like them. If I could click my fingers and get a van now, that would solve my short-term problems, like space. It's sleeping area. It's much easier to stealth camp in a van in suburbia. Like, I think it's pretty obvious that there's someone sleeping in a car when all the windows are steamed up in the morning. That's why I have to leave so early. But so my options on a modest budget, let's say in 6 months, once I've got a bit of money put aside, and I can either buy something outright or get a little bit of finance. My realistic options are just to upgrade to a bigger four-wheel drive, something like an older 76 series wagon, or like a GU Patrol or a GQ Patrol, something that I can sort of lay the passenger front seat flat, and then, I don't know, build some kind of platform, and then have a rooftop tent on the top. But I also, like, as a bit of a daydream, I also have some really unrealistic ideas of what I would like if money was no issue. And I really like a couple of the big American trucks, like the Chevy 2500 HD, 4.5 ton towing. You could get a massive caravan. You could put a big touring canopy on the back and a rooftop tent. You pretty much go anywhere and live like a king anywhere in Australia. So that'd be pretty awesome. But I don't have $500,000 to blow on that kind of setup. I pretty much think I've covered everything. I know I've had to film this about 1,000 times because I have to keep checking back onto my notes because it's just not coming out the way that I thought it would. And again, like, if you've watched to the end of this video, thanks for watching. It feels like it takes me a long time to get stuff out of my head. Definitely this video has taken ages because I've tried to make it a bit more structured instead of just like talking straight to the camera off the top of my head. So I'm going to see if I can make an interesting video out of this. But yeah, if you've watched this far, thank you. And if you've got experiences in this sort of topic, like if you live in a van or you're still living in your car, like, let me know. Like, just give me a full breakdown of what it's like and the pros and the cons from your perspective, because I'd really appreciate it. Like I said, it's going to help me make up my mind. But yeah, so I'm going to wrap it up for now. And I hope I made good eye contact with the camera this time. But yeah, probably try and post this Sunday morning, Saturday night at the moment. And I'm sitting on my own talking to my camera while the dog is on the couch over there staring at me like I'm an idiot. So I better go. See you later.